Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and to today's Plan With Me video. This week we are going to be planning out the week of February 20th through to February 26th, and we are using this absolutely stunning kit from Plana Goddess Studio, who is an Australian store who makes beautiful stickers on a premium buttery smooth paper. I have showed you this kit. I feel like I've showed you this kit 300 times in the last couple of months. And it's because it is the kit that I kept bumping from my lineup, bringing back, bumping again, bringing back. You know how it goes. But originally I had this kit in my January lineup and I didn't end up using it because I subbed it out for something else. And then I decided that I wanted to use it and figured that this would be the perfect week to use it. So why is this the perfect week to use it? Well, firstly, it is a very summery kit. It is called Sicily, and whilst I'm not in Sicily, didn't go to Sicily, nothing like that. It is just, firstly, the colorway, like summer leading into autumn here in Australia, so the colorway is absolutely perfect. But then, you will see in just a moment when I start laying down the full boxes that there are numerous boxes in which a cute little red boxy car is featured. And this week is actually the week that I picked up my brand new car from the dealership. And yes, you guessed it, my car is shiny red. I love her so much. It is the first brand new car that I have ever purchased. I have had many cars before this. When I learned to drive, my parents did buy me a car. It didn't last very long. I don't even think I got to use it or drive it rather on my full license, because it ended up having some problems and it just never got put back on the road. And then I went through numerous cars. My grandpa used to be a mechanic when he was with us, and he always had cars lying around, delivery cars, things like that. So generally whatever car was lying around and free, if I needed to drive somewhere or I wanted to do something, he would let me take one of those cars. So they were never really mine, but I drove a couple different cars. And then I no, I, I bought my very first car after saving a bunch of money on my own. My parents didn't help or anything, so I was super proud of myself. And I bought that. I don't know what license I was on, because obviously there's different levels of licenses. I don't remember what level I was on when I got it. But I bought it myself. It was a second-hand car. It had some mileage on it. And it lasted me a few years. And then I bought a second car after that car died. It too was a second-hand car. I think it had 69,000 kilometers on it when I bought it. And I bought that back in 2013. So bless her little silver, I don't know. I was going to say like cotton socks, but then like doesn't work. But she was a beautiful little Suzuki Swift in the color silver. I called her T-Swizz because she was a Swift, and like Taylor Swift, Swifty, T-Swift, T-Swizz. So her name was T-Swizz. I had her 10 glorious years. But for anyone who has watched my Plan With Me's up to date, you will know that I had some problems with her over the last 6 months. She did die on me twice, and it just got to a point where I didn't feel comfortable or safe driving her anymore. And I was starting to question, like, was it worthwhile investing money into her when I could then put that money into another car? And when it was decided that we would at least just go and look at some cars and see what the price was, my car was also up for registration as well. So registration alone was like $1,200. So when you added that, plus the potential repair costs of the car, that's anywhere from, 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000, maybe even more. So my husband and I decided the week earlier that we were going to go and have a look at some car yards, only we didn't plan very well. We ended up at one dealership that was the only dealership open in the entire like suburb on a Sunday. We debated, we spoke about it. My husband was just like, look, let's go back because I feel like we're going to keep coming back to this one dealership. So let's just go and ask the question, like, how much is it going to cost us? When are you going to get the car? All of that, because I don't know what it's like anywhere else in the world at the moment in terms of getting motor vehicles or furniture or anything like that. But here in Australia, it is really, really hard to import anything at the moment. And when we spoke to them, they did say, like, if we were to get a car, if we didn't take something that was already on the floor and available, it could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months to more. They actually couldn't give us an exact date, so that was fun. But I guess, long story long, because I just told you the ins and outs of everything anyway. I did purchase a new car, and this was the week that I picked her up. And again, having been very inspired by Kat of Peace Love Plan, I have been very conscious of the kits that I've been using in my planner lately, and I've been trying to really use kits that kind of reflect what happened during the week to the best of my ability. And I found that it's been really good because it's meaning that I'm using like a whole range of different kits from different stores. I'm using some of my stash, and I don't know, I'm just finding it good because instead of using like a whole run of like summer kits or Valentine's kits, I'm using kits that sort of mean something to that week. And although this isn't like a car specific kit or anything like that, when I look at it, I think summer, and then I see the little red car there in the box on Monday, the box on Sunday, and I'm just like, that's when I got my car, and my car is red, so it works, right? Um, I will say with this kit, the only downside to it is, I think I mentioned it in either my previous video or the one before that, I have been struggling, well, I was struggling back at this point with the layout because I'm using a Sadie's Stickers A5 planner. And I found that the bottom section doesn't allow enough room for most washi strips from like many kits. Like if you use two 5mm washi and you want to put a gap between them, the second washi overlaps the lines, and then that means you've got to bump everything up. And if you work with your plan with me, like from top to bottom, you'll like have too much room at the bottom. So it's been this real kind of intricate trial and error situation for me to figure out how to best use my planner. And this week I decided I only wanted to use one of the washes from the kit, and the washi from Planner Goddess Studio is much thinner than a lot of other stores, and because I didn't use the second strip of washi, it made it a lot thinner. So I had a little bit of extra space at the bottom. And then as you'll see above the headers there, I have like 1.5 cm of white space up the top there. And whilst I'm looking at the planner now and it doesn't look too bad, it does kind of look empty compared to my other spreads. So I don't know if I'll maybe go and get, I don't know, some dangly bits from Sadie's Stickers and like put that up the top there just to fill in that space. I'm not sure, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I did and about using the quote box from this kit. It did come with a quote box. I wasn't quite sure because I wasn't really sold on the font. But the way that I plan, I do generally need 9 full boxes, and that was the 9th full box. So you'll see me placing it down there, and it does say life is better with gelato. And then the rest of my sidebar is just my usual sidebar where I put my socials and where I track what book I'm reading. This week I did mark something a little extra. So other than my Instagram and YouTube followers and my book of the week, I did actually mark what wax melts I was melting. Interestingly, I didn't mark this a lot in my planner because I wasn't melting a lot of wax in summer. But now that it's moving into winter, I have a feeling I'll be like burning more candles, melting more wax. So you may start to see that in my planner more frequently. But this week I was melting a mango fragrance from my mum. My mum actually makes candles and wax melts, so I always have a lovely supply. And this week was really fitting because it was mango, and this kit's whole vibe is like orange and summer and absolute perfection. And I love the full box that I popped down at the bottom there with like the clinking of the two glasses. So cute. I don't remember what underlays I used. Maybe pretty. I actually don't know the name of the store anymore. Pretty Planner Studio? I don't know. I will try and remember. My brain over the last 2 weeks has been an absolute mess. So I will try and remember. I will try to figure it out and I will link it below, like everything. So if you do want to know where any stickers are from, the stores that I've used throughout this entire spread will be linked below. But if you want to know where a specific sticker is from, then absolutely let me know in the comments and I will get back to you with that information as soon as I have it. I did find this kit a little bit challenging to use as well in terms of the boxes because this kit is designed, it's very half and quarter box heavy. And I don't use a lot of half boxes anymore. And I have obviously learned the little trick where you can cut down and resize the full box, the half box. But I find that I only feel comfortable doing that if I have a script to go over the top because I don't like trying to write over like the cut or split in half box. I just find it weird. I think it looks messy. But if I have a script, then I'm happy to do that. But this entire week, I think with the exception of maybe like 3 or 4 scripts, I do write everything in. So I've tried to make the half boxes work, but they do look a little bit empty sometimes. And then obviously the quarter box is fantastic, but then also the little things, there's not a lot of them and they're very thin. Then they're much thinner than like a normal or standard size little thing. So I did struggle figuring out spacing, but we did get there in the end. Moving into the plans of the week because I've gas bagged for far too long. So on Monday, the first thing that I've gone ahead and marked is Coffee Monday. And then as per usual, I have popped in that I worked. I have too many work trips. Like I feel like I need to just stop marking work and if anything, just mark my days off because that would make more sense. But I have so many work scripts. I stocked up on work scripts so long ago and I feel like now I need to use them. So there's that. I did then mark that it was hot and I feel like an idiot when I mark that it's hot because I mentioned it before, but some years ago, there was a period of like 5 days in Australia where I live where we peaked at 47 or 48 degrees, like every day back to back. And I literally thought I was going to die because it was so hot. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I had a headache. I felt like I couldn't hydrate enough. It was absolutely disgusting. So when I'm marking that it's hot and it was only like 33 degrees, I feel like I'm an idiot, but also is really hot because I'm one of those people that like 22 degrees is like the perfect weather for me. Breezy, sunny, perfect. But anything above that, anything where I start to sweat, I hate it. That's why I hate summer. So when I'm marking that it's hot, I just mean that it was hot to me. Not that it was like super hot, like I'm going to die, but yeah. I hope that makes sense. I then did mark that I did some laundry on this day. Again, you'll find that when I'm marking chores, it's because I had nothing else to mark on this day, or I was really lazy with writing out my plans for this week and I just kind of popped that in to fill some space because generally I'm doing laundry, if not every day, every second day. So it's not a lie. I also marked this day that I got a call from Mazda. So on the Monday, that was when they called me and actually said that my car had arrived to the dealership. And I think they told me it would be ready on Wednesday for collection. But I think I ended up picking it up on Thursday just because that worked better for my schedule and with getting my husband to be able to drive me in there and then he could still go to work without being affected either. I then marked that I had to call the insurance company to make sure that I had insurance on my car ahead of time so that when I drove off the lot of the dealership, I was insured from that moment. And then I've marked that I hung out on Twitch. I watched Married at First Sight and I watched Big Miracles. On Tuesday, I've marked work and then again, I've marked that it's too hot. So on that particular day, it was 34 degrees. Again, not overly hot, but hot enough. I had a dietologist appointment this day. So the dietologist is my dietitian. So I had an appointment with them on this day. And then I marked that I was incredibly tired, that I hung out on Twitch. And again, I watched Married at First Sight. Moving over to Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I've popped work at the top of my day there. And then I did mark that after work, I played some Sims 4. And then once I was done playing with Sims, I went downstairs, sat on the couch, and watched my friends stream on Twitch. I also marked doing some editing on this day. I did some more laundry on this day, and then I pretty much just marked that I chilled out on the couch with my dogs and my husband, and I watched Married at First Sight. And then I'm finally caught up, kind of, because now we're on Thursday. So on Thursday, that is the day that I picked up my brand new car. So we drove into the dealership. They took me downstairs. They showed me my sparkling brand new car. They took, the stereotypical like photo where you pose with your brand new car with the bow on it, because it was like brand new. And I was like, I need to like mark and remember this moment. So I have that photo. And then my husband left, he went off to work, and then I went to McDonald's. I got myself some McDonald's breakfast, and I drove home and logged in late and did some work for the day. I did mark that I had a bit of a headache this day, and then after work, I got to drive my new car again because I had my waxing appointment and my nail appointment. And then that night, I marked that I had KFC for dinner on the way home. On Friday, I've marked work, and then I marked that it was such a long day. I just felt snowed under, like I had too much to do and I couldn't keep up. And then after work, I marked doing a voiceover, having some coffee, and then sitting down to have a bit of a YouTube binge. And then that night, when my husband got home, we watched Rocky Balboa, or Rocky 6 for anyone who isn't familiar with the franchise. Into the weekend, so on Saturday when I got up, I did film a video, and then I've marked that my husband, we went into the local shops and my husband bought himself a new phone. I then marked that I got some coffee, and then when I came home, I did a little bit of editing. And then I've marked that I essentially scheduled those edited videos ready to post on YouTube. And then that night, that is when my husband and I started our Supernatural rewatch. I have been wanting to watch Supernatural again for the longest time, but I wanted to watch with my husband because I've not actually seen half of season 14 and all of season 15, but I didn't want to just watch that out of nowhere after having not watched it for years. So we're actually now doing a full rewatch, and this was the day that we started doing that. And then that night we watched Creed. And then finally on Sunday, we got up and we went out to lunch with our friends. And after lunch, we went into the arcade with their little girl and we played some of those like arcade games to see if we could win her some plush toys. But alas, we failed. I've then marked that we got some coffee. So I got coffee on the way home. So not on the way home. I got coffee and then we went and did a grocery run. And then when I got home, I had a bit of a YouTube binge. I uploaded a video and I watched Married at First Sight. But anyway, my friends, that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in another one very soon. Bye.